Big up once more. Good morning, Salone. Good morning, Africa. Good morning to the world. All the neighboring countries there. The one that we get the privilege for joining me this morning. Not all my able wake. So alhamdulillah, we able to see today, you know. Once a big up to Allah. Respect to Jah. All around, all around. You know, we get serious discussions then this morning. It's always serious so I can sit down for the early morning coffee session. You know, everything what it discuss again with a relator to Salone or contextualizer to Salone. Now something again we for learn from and fit in or try for pick up with pace. Also, what they can discuss, you know, for una we can want go into politics. I wonder if they get any courses then at college or the universities them, you know, regards to government. I wonder if we students in study what we call government studies, you know, whether they're local or international. But now for understand the principalities that we come into government, the formations and the functions them, the rules and policies them, before you jump into politics. We get so many potentials there. We just want to enter just because of the benefits, not to for can do the work. And if you know, impact yourself with knowledge or try to understand, you know, the attributes there, politics, etc., government studies, you know. I don't think say you're able to work for society. I don't think say you're able to create any change. You could just be the same infidel stay we can for thief, take and go. You know, that you could end up for become. So anyway, we'll get few things still they can discuss, and this is serious. Because some of the things like what they talk about government studies, you know, where it comes to ICC, most of we Africans them, you know, the localized one them mostly. I'm not gonna see the one there. What I mean localized, you know, mean say you're not educated, though. You know, you're still educated, but you localize in your context, in your own country settings, no more. You don't know too much of what's in there out there. Well, they can't try for cross them barriers there. Now that's a good for, you know. We get all the bloggers them. The only important or the most interesting thing we're able to talk about now the media now about football. Parts of football, no blogger, no go test the load, do what they do. They go die there. But now we continue now. Big up to Una, good morning Africa. Good morning to Una the diaspora, you know. And lobby kicking, put on Una seatbelt. We go jump start inside Nigeria. This now for this Salone listen to. Now election they cancel. Nigeria they don't done with. No war. But all the Allah, no conflict. No conflict. Then still they run smoothly. You know? But so far, something major they take place inside Nigeria. For all we politicians there, where they serve currently or concurrently, please do not listen to this. Honda itself, the vehicle, the brand, Honda. Now that they assemble the vehicles there also inside Nigeria. This, they create a workforce. This, they stop the youth man or the youth man enough to be idle. Now, let me make sense out of this. Within our area here, Salone, we complain about employment. Well, so far we get free education, but not to all sides not free. But two things there where they make government function properly. As some they exit, some they come for serve. Now we call education and the workforce. There are two things they are go parallel together. Employment, work, people that need for work, students that need for go school. And then things they are going to alleviate the burdens they will experience. Where inside Nigeria, the NEPA markets Nigeria for make sure say car owners them or companies them or institutions them can go in business inside Nigeria. With the hope say them business they are what they can go, and not going to be something similar to what's in the take place now Uganda or Kenya, you know, with this homosexuality, because NATO gets this, you know, incentive package. When I accept we policies them, we will go on the incentives there. We go promote the incentives there. We go donate the incentives there. Any two tuna wants, just accepts we policy. I hope say Nigeria know about that. And under not to American made. So if now that they boast inside Nigeria say that they make Mutuka them, not for say that they make all the parts all in different parts that they make them from different countries them. Now the same opportunity the American man they beget. Whether now the Chinese man or the Japanese they own under, but they be used for assemble them vehicles them. Now the United States or even Europe, take Australia. Then they create a workforce for people and not for idle. Now the DEPA do the same thing inside Nigeria. So this means Honda DEPA remove or take away their business from the United States and all the other major countries them. They foster them in Africa. If Africa gets sense, we go take advantage of this and learn how to make their automobile parts there or how to align them vehicles there. So one day we have to become more creative. So it not go just be under. What now we need for pass on to the ministers in our salon? Because we civil unions them, pardon me, early morning coffee. We civil unions them, election they come. Today, we not get or we not come together it as a whole for tell government what we want. Now governments no more they tell we what they want to do. And this no make sense. Always now governments they pass on the order they tell we what they want to do for we. What about what we want governments to do for we? Since most of the election they can hear, nobody they complain. Una just the feds for political parties them. Una still the feds for the purpose or una cause una stand for. Because if they tower for a political party, if you tower back by that same political party say, if una win, now so and so we want. And I can't take achievements there we want to see. But it's not possible in within we own context. You know? Because they just worry about for win. What in they say, not to what we want or what we say. So what in Tasmo they say this morning, we want jobs there inside saloon. Una need for market salon to the world. We get beaucoup other companies in there where they manufacture beaucoup goods them. You know, beaucoup goods them. You know, we can talk about automobile, we can talk about shoemaking, we can talk about food processing, we can talk about telecommunication, marketing, advert, sales. Most of them things they are beaucoup companies in different parts of the world where they can create some employment there for the state or people in Europe, and they can take advantage of the attributes there. But we own governments, or we own system, we own politicians them. They need a market salon for their companies there, can inside salon. So Uber go begin to start for aligning vehicles them. And people then will get jobs. We get Toyota, we get Honda, we get Mazda, we get Benz, we get, even American vehicles them. We get so many different brands them. Why make we governments just sit down full foot just to look for donation? A donation is no more what waits for. Donation. But we need for adverts, we need for markets, we need for face and kind inside. If governments not able to create employment for we the youth man, they need for go seek employment from other people and for Canada's country and create some for we. And that's the Ghanaians and the Nigerians and they do. But when we on government system, donation, or we'll go make this small bridge over yonder, or we'll go build this small thing over yonder, or now we'll get so small company over yonder. Well, that company, they maybe now 5 or 10 people they hire. The rest of salon, they suffer. The youth man, they go mad. This is bad for we all. Then they say we want a vibrant society. How we go foster or build a vibrant society where education we lack, employment we lack, and the education self, that students where they go school for go learn. Again, if in papa or in mama not they make any income, how you think say go able support in Pekin? Because not to just no more the school fee way free. They go for the feed that Pekin in a house. They go for the cloth that Pekin get a small school fee, transportation, etc. So this now a circle around, not to just government. Now one whole circle around. So if then they focus or put all their resources on education, we have to also focus on employment. We need to focus on anything there. If not for that, we go demand to win at this country. You know? They want to begin to see people and begin to act crazy. You know? Then blame them back on politics. We're not all in our politics. Now the way of the system there. This is very sad for we, but not a good initiative for Nigerians. Very good initiative. Honda, now that they are similar inside Nigeria. And when I know say they don't begin to make armor vehicles, I don't talk of this before. You know? Some other things there. So with the big ministers there, they're going to consider them things there. Before we go to the international discussions there, we need to tackle this first. You know, because this is meaningful and it makes sense to Tasmo. Because myself, now, they look for work. A double master's holder. Now, you don't so. Double master's holder. Work no day. If in other country, they're not possible. We don't allow it continue. One church small of Gaddafi again, but I think say it will make sense that we discuss ICC before we can tackle Gaddafi in your talk one. You know, we finally we discuss ICC before we tackle Gaddafi in your talk one. And most of una maybe don't know what's in the ICC. So I'm going to give you a small background before I start for discourse. I'm going to give you a small preliminary background, you know, before we discuss. ICC, it represents International Criminal Court. This abbreviation, ICC, you know, represents the International Criminal Court. Criminal court for politicians, them. Criminal court for presidents, them. Presidents, them, where they commit. Presidents, where they commit for them countries, they're not able to hold them accountable. But this court in there for make sure, say, then justify the cause and hold those accountable. Now, let me continue. The UN General Assembly then voted on the 9th December 1998. Also, again, the 12th December 2000 for endorse the ICC, you know, for they kind to active, following 60 ratification stem, things they for ratify, you know, 60 ratification stem, and also, this, now the Rome Statute, based on the Rome Statute, what was in the Rome Statute, anything we deal with Rome, you know, say in Italy. Italy. The Rome Statute entered into force on 1st July 2002. The Rome Statute entered into force on 1st July 2002. So the formation starts on the 9th of December 1999. Again, the voting of this formation for they came into existence on the 12th of December 2000. Then finally, it came into existence on July the 1st, 2002. And this court, they establish inside Rome status or whatsoever, inside Italy, that this treaty is based on negotiation and within the UN. Now, a negotiation in within the UN, but it's totally different from the UN. It not get any strong partnership with the UN, but again, there was a negotiation. You know, something they need for debate about. Because when they talk of UN, when they talk of the world affairs, the world as a whole, all the affairs of the world. So same thing with this ICC. Then back one creates a mandate for make sure say what's in there about it align with the UN and the rest of all the power countries there. So it came into active in 2002. The International Criminal Court. Now, let me continue. This International Criminal Court, again, formally established among 123 countries them. You know, as states parties them to this Rome Statute. I want to make you now understand this part here, very important. This area outside they can quote so. But 123 countries them are state parties to the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court. What in that mean? Every country we don't sign an agreement for be part of this ICC. Now ICC, now like the government. All the other countries them, now the state. I hope so now they get the point. All other countries that will sign to this, now states. ICC don't become government. But countries then they will not sign for their parts of this. Especially the United States. I go and make una listen carefully with the try for heads on side. They don't deal corrupt we. They don't deal corrupt we. United States not a part of this ICC because they feel like say not compatible to the Constitution, to the U.S. Constitution. Not compatible to the U.S. Constitution. Not fitting or not sit on well with the with the U.S. Constitution. Now that's make the United States not sign for their parts of this. Also, it is unconstitutional because it will allow a trial of a U.S. citizen for criminal or crimes committed in within the United States soil. So that means if any politician commits any crime in within the United States, nobody not for trying out of the United States. If they want trying, now in within the United States. I hope so now they get what they try for say. Now listen carefully. So America no sign this agreement for the parts of this ICC. But now then they enforce all the regulations them where it comes to ICC. You not sign. You know they're part of this. But now you they enforce. Now, low they continue. Low they continue. I hope so una they gets the message. And ICC mostly they focus now for target the Africans them. Or they can say leaders them we corrupt. Or leaders them where they abuse humanity. Leaders them where don't commit crime within their own country. Where maybe where they don't commit stone, they want fleet go to another country, you know. That make more than creates this ICC for tackling individuals there. If you don't commit, you want run away, we will still able to arrest you and hold you to account. Just like how they do just Silo. Now we they continue. So now for fets the Africans them. But now this ICC one fet, well I'm not gonna say they're young, but parts of Europe, Russia, totally they against Putin. Now that's make ICC they make noise lately. But we will get to that. We will get to that. And ICC again then focus. Then they hope say this fight, you know, whether they fight against them politicians they are, you know, against the impunities they are in within this African continent. When they talk of impunity, you cause crime and you think say you free. You do anything and the law no go bet you. You know, now that's what they talk of impunity. You know, and we don't want that for any nation. Say you go just commit a crime and you go buff free. We don't want that. You know, so the African Commission of Human Rights and also the African Court of Justice and Human Rights now not get any jurisdiction, you know, for try international crimes. The African Commission of Human Rights and the African Court of Justice and Human Rights, they not get any jurisdiction. The jurisdiction means they not get any power for arrest any crime committed by any president. We want flee. So now that's make ICC come into active. Since the African Commission not able to hold them people accountable, since the African Court and Justice Human Rights not able to hold them people accountable, they form ICC for beginning to hold people accountable. Also, China not a part of ICC. But when they get the pictures then clear. All them superpower countries them, they not mix. They not one day. Okay. Now we continue. Now inside South Africa, why make we face can this ICC up? Inside South Africa. Well, tin on tiggy inside South Africa. You know, a few days ago, last week, we discussed small about the invitation. Well, Putin gets, you know, for go or for come inside South Africa. Based on this BRICS, you know, summit wouldn't get. Or they talk of BRICS again. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You know, then world powers there, then get a summit which will take place inside South Africa very soon. And Putin invited for go. But so far, ICC say Putin not for go. It says South Africa and gets a mandate for arrest Putin. Well, South Africa then say, we not get any mandate for arrest Putin. And if it can't come, will they pull out away from ICC? So South Africa don't revoke or don't remove themselves from ICC about last week or so. They say they don't want they part of this nonsense. Now, let me continue. They don't withdraw totally from ICC. Also, then give some other reasons they want to make them withdraw. And now the president of South Africa, that he make this statement, he said the manner what ICC they be saying so far, you know, in dealing with the types of problems them, well, you know, the international world experience, and also what's in this African coast they experience, the manner what ICC they handle their issues there, and all right, you know, enough fear, and now some of the reasons they are make them pull out away from ICC. Also, Amnesty International, you know, also make a comment that the treatment what they give Putin are not justifiable, and not fair. You know, the treatment what they give Putin. So ICC, they enforce again now. They enforce not so just to the South Africans them, but to all the political parties them or the political elites or elites them where they inside South Africa. And when I know say South Africa is divided, I will make una understand. I will make una understand. And so far the South Africans they say they're not going to allow the United States for use them. For use them. For do them dirty work. They not come on they not plan for do them dirty work for the Americans them or NATO. So Putin is welcome inside South Africa at any time. And anybody were there for church Putin. Now what? I don't state this before. Now let me continue. And also, what's in the South African president state? ICC not gets the interest of all. They only gets the interest of few states still. Few states still. But they not gets the interest of all. So that means ICC totally partial. Then decision making and all right. Partiality did it. You know? And ICC not for bisu. You know, if really then come for audits there, then criminal offenses there, you totally supposed to be neutral. You know, but ICC no they so. And all them bigger power countries they are not involved. You know. Now let me continue. Also they missed for assassin Putin a few weeks ago. NATO wouldn't decline say they not get any hand for the attack inside the oil refinery inside Moscow. Well, you know, NATO go deny, Ukraine go deny, but, you know, they missed Putin about a few weeks ago for assassinating him. But it still stands strong, you know, it still stands strong. So now two targets NATO don't prescribe to the world. Two options to them. Either now for assassinate Putin, una kill him, or una arrest him and pass him on to it. Now then two options they are, NATO and ICC don't pass on to Africa as a whole and any other country we go for welcome Putin for go visit. That's the need for arrest Putin. Now, let me continue again. We're not forgetting that the ANC, now then they in power right now inside South Africa. They're not the ruling power. The ANC. ANC. Now, Jacob Zuma, the former president, Jacob Zuma, Also, something similar don't happen before with Kenyatta. Will Juma not participate, not be involved, a decline ICC totally. Because I not think say, they get any merits for take certain actions the way they take against some presidents them or current presidents the way they serve. If maybe you don't exit, out of power, if you don't relinquish your power, maybe they go come after you. But if you currently they serve, they say you're not justifiable enough for go after a current serving president. You're not justifiable enough. So even Jacob Juma, not be follow suit where he can to Kenyatta. Kenyatta inside Kenya, and I know say they be put another warrant for also the 10 way back be they serve. For civil conflicts them. For human lives them, the loss of lives them, etc., etc. Now let me continue, but that's fail. So, and what's in ICC now they state? I really want to make sure I get this picture clear. ICC also states that the African leaders them they try for escape the international justice. Now you make the all galvanized together. All the African leaders there. Why make them focus on the African leaders there? My own question is, say all the African leaders and they try for escape this international justice, for being dishumane. Now, let me continue again. ICC does say no head of state can be arrested in another country. Well, not then states, but then it's seek him. Then back states the same thing within their own policy, but then they seek and we count to Putin. Then they seek and we count to Kenyatta. Then they seek and also there was another leader, I remember in name, I will inform you. There was another leader also where they seek, but the African leaders did not comply. Al-Bashir, there be another leader also who ICC be the sick. Al-Bashir. And Al-Bashir, I think Bashir or Bashir, there was a time also where he visits South Africa. There be the demand for an arrest inside South Africa. The South Africans, go with the game. Or not go with the play. Or not follow suit. Or not make any arrest. So it don't say, South Africa, they become a delinquent, as we can say, to NATO or the US. Oh, no, use another word. It don't say, South Africa, they dismiss NATO, their intentions. It don't say whether they dismiss NATO, their intentions. Now, inside South Africa again, the US, they use different groups them for counter what the president just stated last week. The US, they attacking with other groups them, political groups them, inside South Africa for counter or go against what's in the current president state. For create another internal conflict. Now that's the US good for. For satisfy people them and create internal conflict. So again, the Western Cape, South Africa, when I also talk of the Western Cape, South Africa, mostly in a white stem. And this also another political angle, a political party, and mostly a white people. White people. Well, the white people then gets different views from the Africans them inside South Africa. Now, when I can see outside the problem deal. Then gets different views from the South Africans them. Well, the South Africans them, they say they're not going to arrest Putin, the current party. The current party wanna ANC. I want to make sure I give you the ANC, the current party. Now EFF with Julius Malema, another opposition. The EFF political party also they stick with the ANC. They say they're not going to arrest Putin at all. They're not going to support NATO into this. But the only group where agree or then say they're going to arrest Putin when the time reach, now the Western Cape, groups or Western Cape white folks them, the people them. They say if Putin go inside South Africa, then go arrest them. Well, what's in the black South Africans they see? They say, then they forget, say, now inside Africa, then they leave. Then white people are where they talk this nonsense inside South Africa. Then they forget, say, now inside Africa, then they leave. You know? And then just they talk Boku. Then people are now the Western Cape. Now Boku talk, then get. They say, where camp, nothing they're not going to do. The rest of the South Africans, they assure the world, say, Western Cape not gets no power, no authority, and they're not going to be able to do nothing to Putin or Putin go inside South Africa. So when I don't see the internal conflicts now, so if Western Cape attempts a problem for the blacks and the whites inside South Africa, it will be a problem. And that's what I want. Julius Malema, also a opposition. A day in support for let Putin go inside South Africa. A day in support. They say Putin is like a hero to them. Putin is a hero to them. Anybody where they stand up or we go challenge the American system, now a hero to the African system. What's in the South Africans in state? What's in the South Africans in state? And also, them people are here, within this Western Cape, stated by Julius Malema. Malema is saying na spoil breed them. Saying na spoil breed them. Meaning na spoil white kids them. Or white people them. Na spoil white people them. We don't get any sense about nothing. They also states that even when it comes to, with African issues there, Western Cape not even know the African struggles. I don't even understand the African struggles. Now spoiled brats them. So they not consider them Africans at all. Then they reside inside South Africa, then claim to be Africans and they're white people there. But the South Africans do not even consider them Africans. Now spoiled kids them. We don't get any sense about Africa. Now, Lord, we continue. Now, who say Gaddafi Kansai? Gaddafi Kansai? Good morning to one once more. Way just to join me. BRICS. We now know saying they come for challenge the dollar. Now, this day creates the conflicts now about Putin in arrival for come to this summit inside South Africa, will go take place very soon. BRICS, then they contest with the dollar. BRICS come for challenge the dollar. Well, there was a time Libya not be poor. There was a time where Libya, all man be wealthy, but they live a wealthy, a good, better life than even the Americans do. How come Libya become wealthy? Even though not all things what Gaddafi do, me go support, because beaucoup atrocities them will take place within this West African coast. So my own personal views, I feel like say Gaddafi be support. It supports rebel groups them for extract minerals them. All the minerals there, now in Gaddafi use for make a country viable. He use the minerals there as an asset, a collateral. Just like how they talk of gold and is there. That's the American man, they stack in golds as bonds. Golds and bonds. Then they go make sure so the currency never go down, deflate. But it go always they inflate. The currency always go up. But it not go ever deflate. Relating to gold. Gaddafi realized this technique. So in back, he doing on criminal habits, he makes sure say Libyan currency become valuable. Very competitive to the dollar. The Libyans they live a good life. When that technical understanding or knowledge what Gaddafi don't understand, say if I able for rebrand we own currency, then country in currency. If we be able for develop the young country as a whole, it can able do for Africa. It can able do for Africa. When I be the purpose this make them eliminate Gaddafi. Because in back we want to create something similar to BRICS. For now we get with African dollar. One currency for the entire Africa. One currency. And what is currency are now? We go begin to make sure so we add value into them. What's not the value? Gold, diamond, any minerals so we're able to store as bonds. As bonds. You know, any mineral we're able to store as bonds, we're going to make sure so we currency or we money, it become valuable or competitive or maybe even past the dollar. What the American man notice this concept and know say Gaddafi don't smart enough, he don't get sense enough. Well, they incite people in within your own country and the world for go against Gaddafi. Gaddafi in start and not respect, but in middle to the end, he try to do something positive for Africa, where for them rescue this one whole continent. Where for them maybe make with the world leaders name maybe today or soon to be. You know, if US forgot to worry about China, they also forgot to worry about Africa. But we not get that. And also we get big full African leaders there. We go tie together with the US for make sure say then dismiss Gaddafi. Where for una we go tie that agreement today. Or we turn back for Gaddafi. Now shame on una today. Shame on una. Because why? The same reason now una the tower say una want be part of BRICS. Now the same thing Gaddafi be want do, but una not support her. Same thing Gaddafi be want do, una not support her. Una sit down, una fall and take and kill this guy. Now all man want jump go inside BRICS because they want compete with the dollar. So now follow you know no more say this wall here. Today when you go to do something good, they go point finger at you say you bad, you evil. Now so you there, say they eliminate you. When they eliminate you, 10, 20 years later now, then people then go realize say this man will then be eliminated. Now be a smart person, now be a good person, now be the right person for we. Now so then kill Christ. Now so then kill Boku great leaders them. We're wise enough, we want to create a change, but not allow for create the change. Now what they don't kill and done, later now people then realize. How long will go there for them kind of big full things there? Let me question this again. How long? You know? How long? Now that's make the American man, they outside, inside, Middle East, inside Africa, for watching. Two major products what they store. Two major products what they go after. Oil and gold. It's all about oil and gold. When you get them two products here, you don't control the world. And that's Gaddafi be the try for do. Inside Libya first and gets oil. The whole Middle East gets oil. Africa, Nigeria gets oil. You know, that this Gaddafi be the try for do. Now we put all our assets there together, you know, so we'll create a currency where will be valuable than the dollar. So then people there are not going to molest sweet again. But then sit down, fall hand, fall foot, still and kill them. Now ICC depart tower against Putin. Because Putin is a part of BRICS. And BRICS then they for counter against the dollar. I hope say una learn something this morning. So if today or tomorrow somebody begin point finger at Tasmo, say Tasmo na so and so, na so Tasmo they do, na so Tasmo they do, be mindful. Because what God Jesus no, now I go realize say Tasmo able to do what's injustifiable. Tasmo be the work for the society. Tasmo be the try for impact knowledge to Sierra Leoneans them. Tasmo want alleviates this struggle with Africans in the face. You know? But for now, the infidels them or the one that like for Paul go always talk negative about Tasmo. Same thing with Gaddafi. Same thing with Christ. Same thing with all the great leaders they would have lost. You know? So now be mindful. Any outside cabal points finger. If you wise enough, you get sense. No mix it. Any outside see that they beat self somebody or thief man self. No mix it because you know no how it starts. Not go find ake for yourself. Not go find ake for yourself. You know? Now what you know, you understand, you will participate. But if you don't know, you don't understand. Try for land. Try for land. Now, na boy against us Muslims, the servants, aka Gbepeko, the face of Salon, the face of the Green, White, and Blue, and the face of the people. I hope say when I become entertained, and I hope say the knowledge also the person when I obtain them. For all the future politicians there, we don't need for good understanding things there. Because we don't need you for can serve and can thief. But we need you for can serve and make a difference. And that's what we want una to do. Una stay blessed.